So we're going to go through 10 methods. The first one here, find content you didn't know you already created. This one is, I love this one because it sometimes catches people off guard in terms of what have we done before that we can actually just use as content. And the first one here is emails. So we've all answered emails. We've sent tons of emails, and I'm talking about direct emails. These are emails to other colleagues, emails to other organizations, emails to corporate partners or program associates. These types of emails where you're answering some type of question or giving some sort of information about your industry sector, your programs, your insights into how recipients feel about your programs. There's so much in these emails that you can actually pull out and use that as a piece for your content, whether it's an article or a video or something on social media. So there's also phone calls, similar to the email type of situation, a little bit harder to go back and see like, hey, what did we say in those phone calls? But sometimes you say things over and over again. Common phone call lines that you're talking to, whether it's prospective donors or partners or something like that, new partners, you're talking about very similar things often. And so if you find these common phrases or things that keep coming up, that's often fuel for articles or other content that you can be creating. And it's something you're already doing. You already know that it's there. Annual reports, this is a little bit more of an obvious one because people are generally creating these annual reports with the idea that it's content to be shared. But I want you to think about it in a little bit of a different way. Instead of just sharing the entire report, what you can do is actually piece it out as well. You can take small snippets of it and use that on social media. Maybe you have some data in there that you're using. Maybe you have some information about your industry or new updates or testimonials, things like that. You can actually pull those out and use that as content that you've already created. And then training manuals. If you're an organization that's organized enough to have training manuals, I know that's not always possible in some smaller organizations and larger ones. There's a lot of training material in there where you're talking to new employees about the industry, about the recipients, about the programs. And if it's written down and it's in there, you can probably pull it out and throw some of that into articles. You have to work on it a bit, but the whole idea of this is to get the core piece of your content from something you've already created before. And then speeches or talks as well. Sometimes you'll have, Google slide deck or something like that one of your executives or, fundraisers has used in the past a couple of years ago. And sometimes that has, not only does it have information in it, data and things that you can use, but it has graphics as well, hopefully. So if your organization has any of these assets that you've already used, one thing you can do is just kind of go through them and take stock of all those assets that you could possibly use for content later in the future.